Hello everyone. So I've drawn out the lady again with the two dogs, and in this video I'm just going to have a look at how we can draw the figure and how we can capture that very subtle movement that gives the impression of someone walking. So I mean I would look at there's a sort of a floor line from that back leg there. There's a curve line. She's pushing off that back leg and her weight's shifting. So she's leaning slightly, so she's going to take the weight on this leg. It's only subtle, but that rather than any detail, that's more of a key component is that subtle flow. So I'm using a soft 2B pencil just to sketch this out, and I'll do what I've just said. I'll just get that little flow line in there, and then start looking at very simple shapes. So looking at the big simple shapes first. And looking at proportion, so that distance compared to where it is on the upper body. And then when you've got that in, I can start just adding a little bit more detail. It's got a polo neck jumper on, so that's that. And then the head is sort of sunk into the body. It's not on top of the body. And to get where the eye line is in the nose, if you imagine there's a line around, so I'm drawing a line around a surface there, and a centre line, and then looking at above that line, where does the little woolly hat go? And then just imagining construction lines where the distances and proportions are. So only gentle marks at this point, just planning the whole thing. So this leg's slightly raised, the upper leg slightly raised, so you've got a bit of a, so you imagine it's a tube. You can sort of draw the lines around the surface of it to get that contour. And then the kneecap, so that's coming slightly towards us, and that's going straight down, so just do some little hatching marks to create that impression of the change in direction. And again, it's how the limbs pull on surfaces, so the materials, the textures, so that the well is, how does that lower limb pull on that material? Good, so let's go back up to the top there and let's see if we can get so using that contour line, so the eyebrows, and there's not much detail, just enough to give the feeling that it's a female. Go. And then just adding a bit more weight to these marks now. Go. There's a bit of a fold there on the jumper where the leg that's lifting up would just push slightly on the material and give that fold. And then the hands, so again I mentioned about details, we're not too bothered, which will be a relief I think, we're not too bothered about a lot of detail with it's the movement and the gesture again. So imagine it like a bit of a mitten, so we don't need to worry about fingers, just the thumb. Just making the marks a bit stronger now so that I'm more confident that they're in the right places. And that'll do for the drawing of the lady, that. And then for the dog, so the first bit would be to just work out where you're going to place the dog. Bit of a negative shape there, so you could just sort of gently just mark that in. And then we're not copying the outline, we're imagining it as a 3D object. So I'm imagining the main body's a bit of a long sort of thick tube shape, but we're looking along it. So just get that shape first, and then the neck is a tube that's coming upwards. So these contour lines help with that. And then placing the limb. And the head. See if this helps. Do it in a little square like that. Concentrating really hard. Hopefully that the little box that I made sort of describes. So again, just repeating. So if you imagine that's a tube that's going at an angle. So if you draw the contour lines like that, it can help you sort of understand the perspective of the volume of the the shapes. It's really funny with dogs because if you look at the lower limb, it's a very similar forearm to a human until it gets to obviously the paw. That looks a little bit too long, that. I'll just try and redefine a few more marks to make it more accurate. Good, that's all right. And then again with this one, so just judging where it is. It's that sort of area. Just see on top of its back a little bit. That's all right, that. Not too bad. Hopefully that sort of can guide you through the drawing process, and then when you've done that, we'll have a go at the painting.